Hi, and welcome back to Pittman's Pumpkin Patch, Pittman's Garden Patch. It is June 30th, 2013. I figured I'd give an update, have some good news and some not so good news, but that's typical of a garden, Starting off here with my Boston Marrow pumpkin slash squash. Not doing so hot. They started out like gangbusters, but you can see some of the leaves and everything are just in bad shape. On a couple of the plants, yellowing, browning. I've already trimmed out quite a few already. Now the new growth you see going up the trellis that I built, that seems to be healthy, but we'll see how long that lasts. Sometimes if you have a disease, it'll work its way up the vine starting from the base of the plant, and we'll see how that goes. My dad came over yesterday, and we were looking at these plants in here. He says, "Son," he says, "you're not watering enough." I'm like, "Dad, are you kidding me?" I said, "I come out here and I'm pretty much watering every single day." He says, "It's not enough. Look at the soil," he says. And we're sticking our finger down into the soil and it's bone dry. I said, "I just watered these this morning." And he reminded me, he says, "Didn't you say that these big bad beds, these fabric pots here, are very porous and they allow for great drainage and everything?" I'm like, "Yeah." He says, "Well, there you go." He says, "Your water's draining right through and out the bottom of your pallets and everything." And I'm like, "Well, I got peat moss in here and I got vermiculite in here, and that's supposed to retain water." So I'm now wondering, did A, I not put enough in of the vermiculite and peat moss, or B, is the peat moss and the vermiculite at its saturation point where it cannot hold any more water, so all the rest of it's just going through? I don't know. Probably didn't put enough in. But so it is what it is. I have more emitters, so I'm going to be adding in things. I'm going to cut in some more line in here and get some more water to these plants, and I'm going to get that. Hopefully I can get these to recover. My zucchini, squash, and not doing so hot. And there's a female zucchini down there. It looks like it's going to bloom tomorrow morning. I can tell because the leaves are getting yellow. And some of the other zucchinis and squash that are dying off, that's why they're turning yellow, because there was no male flowers to pollinate them with. I only have one plant of these zucchinis right now that's in any kind of blooming stage, and it's apparently the timing of the males and female flowers are off on this plant. They need to get their act together and talk to one another. A little more communication there. And but you see that PVC pipe in there? That's what I was using to direct the vine back to the trellis. So you can use whatever you need to very carefully redirect these vines. You can see where I bent it nice and easy and carefully back over there so that it'll go towards the trellis. I have aluminum foil down here to protect against squash vine borer moths. Of course, they will lay their eggs doggone anywhere on the vine. So, you gotta do what you can. They are a tough hombre to battle. Some zucchinis in here that weren't doing so hot the other day. They were all yellowing up, but now when we've had quite a bit of rain, they seem to be they were greened up this morning. So, I guess Dad was right, huh? Go figure, huh? Even at my age, I'm still learning. Yep, Dad knows what he's talking about. Yep, Mom knows what she's talking about. So let's talk about this bed here. And there's a couple of zucchinis in there that I got, and theirs are doing nicely. But now look here, I got my triangle going on. Doop, right there. Those are some more pumpkins I planted in here, just to plant, and those are some regular jack-o'-lantern pumpkins, like your Connecticut field kind of pumpkins. And my wife got me those seeds at a gas station about a year ago, and they were 99 cents. I'm just like, whatever, I'll just put some in and see what happens. And they're taking off pretty good. They popped up, they germinated in about 3 days, and I'm kind of getting used to that. The packages say 7 to 14 days. My pumpkin seeds have been sprouting up in generally 3 to 5 days, for the most part. Pumpkin out here, there, and there. Those are Howdens, and those popped up in about 3 days also. And I tell you, I guess I'm kind of sort of addicted to trying to grow Howden pumpkins. I've been trying for a few years now to do it, and I have not successfully really grown one. I did get one baby one that it was the plant was so taken over by powdery mildew and squash bugs and everything. It 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 wasn't good. It wasn't a good situation. So I keep trying every year, and maybe this year will be my year. Things are off to a lot better start than I've ever seen, so we'll see what happens. But I planted a few more just in case something goes wrong over there in that bed there, and we'll get to that in a minute. But it's just something about that name Howden for me. When I hear the word Howden, I'm thinking of Halloween, pumpkins. I'm thinking of a werewolf that howls, so Howden pumpkins. I just make that connection, and I love it. And so you see the cotyledon leaves. This was the first one that popped up. You see the cotyledon leaves in there right in the middle is the true leaf starting to come out there. Now, let me show you back to this Boston Marrow real quick and make sure there's no bee inside this female flower that opened up this morning, right there. All right, now it's already beginning to close, so that's why the petals are, starting to close in on itself. But inside there is the stigma, and so those are the female parts, the stigma. And I did find one male flower this morning on another Boston Marrow plant that opened up, but it was raining, I think, a little bit this morning, so I saw a little bit of water on the inside of the petals. So, that's not good for the pollen. Kind of washes it out, weakens it, dilutes it, and all that kind of stuff. You don't want that. But I figured, it doesn't hurt to try. So I picked off the male flower, and I picked the petals off, and exposed the stamen, which is the male part. And I came in here like a painter, and I painted, put the pollen on here, and there is some in there. I don't know if it'll take. We'll see. But here's hoping. And just so you know, there is the Boston Marrow squash / pumpkin right there. Okay, so, and look at here, there's another one right there. There, see the female flower, squash pumpkin right there, petals. So hopefully maybe in about 2 days that'll be blooming. Thing is I have male flowers. Oh, look, there's another female flower right there. So I got lots of females, and that's kind of unusual. Usually you get male flowers that bloom first, and a lot of them. And then there are male flowers down there. They just don't look like they're ready to, another 2-3 days maybe, and they'll start to bloom. But usually your male flowers come out first, and they come out in a lot of them and blooming quite a bit before you start seeing females. And the reason for that is because it wants to attract the bees, get them to coming to your your plants early on, to get the bees established, to get them in a routine and a pattern of coming to your garden. So that's why the male flowers will come out first. But for whatever reason this year, I'm not seeing a whole lot of male flowers blooming first. Female flowers, I've seen a couple bloom already, and of course go to waste. And I see a lot of female flowers. I'm just like, come on, males. Usually I'm usually saying, come on, females, because but this time I'm like, come on, males, show up. I need you. So, you can see some, again, there's a PVC pipe in this one here, redirecting vines to this trellis that I built. And so, we'll see what happens, like I said, with these Boston Marrows. A little bit of a head rush there. Stood up too quick. Alright, so let me come over here. Now this is my next project. I got the wood you see out here. Oh, see some of the pieces already bowing because it was out here in this weather. Doggone it. And you can see I put these PVC pipes hammered in the ground to temporarily put these vines attaching to them, because these things have just taken over so much I can't keep up with all these things. I mean, it is just going crazy in here with all these pumpkins. They have wildly exceeded my expectations of what they're doing, at least so far. Knock on wood, I'm hoping everything's going to stay healthy, no diseases, and but I've planted way too much. Usually I end up replant because diseases or bugs get things, But this year, I'm in raised beds for the first time. I'm even on top of pallets. The raised beds are on top of pallets to get it off of the ground because the ground just stays so saturated in the shards because of the clay soil. The drainage is horrible. So I put them up on raised beds. And I'm just like, these things are going nuts. I'm coming out here about every 2 days, and I'm redirecting vines, and I'm putting the little tying them on to things, and just it's overwhelming. I've never expected these things to do like they're doing. I've been growing for like, I guess 6 years maybe on these things, and I've never seen it do these kinds of things. Just never ever seen this kind of growth. And it's overwhelming for one person, you know. And I mean, look, there's new growth coming out of there. There's new growth coming down here. There's new growth coming out here. Now, I've heard and seen occasionally, you know, in my past, growing seasons, secondary vines and things like that. But these things are doing secondary vines and tertiary vines, and I don't even know if there's one for putting off a fourth vine. But it seems like these pumpkins and everything are growing like tomato plants, in that it'll grow and it puts out another new vine or whatever, new suckers as they would call them for tomato plants, and it's putting out a new one. Then a few more leaf nodes up ahead, boom, there goes another new vine going off in another direction. I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's unbelievable. And now these are some Howden pumpkins in this half of it, and these are Mr. Wrinkle's pumpkins. Both are in the Peppo family, and you can see right there is a female flower on this Howden. And I know it's in the Peppo family because the baby pumpkin is green. Now, and it'll stay green until it goes to ripening, and then it'll turn more yellow and then into orange and everything like that. So that's in the Peppo family because that fruit is green under there. Now, I was looking at the squash plants over the Boston Marrow, and they were saying like, well, the website and the seed company, when I talked to the person, said that these are on the these are in the Maxima families. Well, the fruit should be yellow if it's in the Maxima families, and those were kind of a limey green. But here's a Mr. Wrinkles female right there. See the fruit underneath there, and it's good solid green, and so hopefully we'll get something for that soon. And look at this vine. I can see it. Look at this vine right here. I gotta fix that up because that's going back and laying across the other plants. I gotta hurry up and get that trellis built and get it up here for these plants. But I'm just, like I said, I am overwhelmed. These things are just going crazy. And right here, these are a couple sunflower plants. Now, for those of you who are specifically who go to my school, my elementary school where I teach, we had a master gardeners come in back on Earth Day. I think it was April 21st or April 22nd, and they give you a little Dixie cup with a couple marigold seeds in one and a couple sunflower seeds in another little Dixie cup. Well, here are those sunflowers plants from the Dixie cups. Simple little Dixie cup and a couple seeds, and put this in this mushroom compost with this topsoil mix in here, and compost tea and everything from Boogie Brew website, boogiebrew.com, and I'm telling you, these things are going nuts, and it is overwhelming. Now next year, I'm already thinking about next year, just barely into the season this year, and I'm thinking, well, once I get these trellises built, I'm going to be ahead of the game next year, and these things won't catch me off guard like this, because these things are just monstrous. And it's unbelievable what's going on with these things. Let me take you over here to the Maxima family. Here's my second trellis that I built. The Maxima family of pumpkins that I'm growing here. The Big Macs and the Cinderellas down on that end. And this is a jungle. A jungle. Now look. See there? See that female flower right in there? See if I can zoom in on it. It's hard for me to see out here where there's daylight like this. See the yellow pumpkin right there on the bottom? That tells me it's in the Maxima family, okay? And so, see, this vine is coming back out here, and I got to redirect it back the other way, which I thought I did because it came back out. But, I mean, let me just kind of give you a sneak peek in here. I mean, it's going to be hard to see, I think. But just look at all these vines and just crawling all over each other and I mean, just unbelievable. I mean, look at this leaf stalk right here. This leaf, that stalk goes all the way down. That thing's got to be at least, geez, about 3 feet tall or so. I mean, I've never seen them that tall. I've seen other people in videos on YouTube, and some of them have these big, humongous ones. I'm like, gosh, how do they get them so big? And I'm thinking, well, they must be going those, those Atlantic dill pumpkins, the big, ones that they use for contests and stuff. Now, these Big Macs, they say can grow up to 100 pounds, the pumpkins. But, I mean, I got vines going on top of vines and leaves growing on top of leaves, and everything is just going crazy with growth. And it's just a major, major jungle. And, there are female flowers galore out here. Again, I see some male flowers back into the vines, further back in the vines, but I mean, there's a baby one right there. You can see the yellow fruit on it. And I've seen a few more in here that I was looking at earlier. Well, yeah, this one's got 2 of them on there. And see, this one's getting maybe 4 or 5 days, and that might pop, might bloom. And there's another one there. And so, I'm getting a lot of females, but and there are males in there. They're just not getting themselves looking like they're getting ready to do much of a lot of anything, but we'll see. And so, I mean, things are just going crazy. I came out here earlier this morning, and I was redirecting vines and stuff and fixing things up. And so you can see these things are just, I mean, they're already at the top. Almost at the top of the 8-foot trellis already on that Cinderella one right there. And I mean, just like I said, just going nuts, because that vine goes almost up 8 feet completely, almost 8 feet, and then it's back in here further into the patch itself. So just overwhelming. I did not expect anything like this. So, just, I mean, size of these leaves, just nuts. Let me show you on this leaf right here. Look at that. Crazy big. I ate a few blackberries this morning off my blackberry bushes down the vine. I got a few more. They're pretty tasty. Now you can see that blueberry one bush right there. It's real sad. And this blueberry one's sad. So my blackberries are doing fairly good. The blueberries, not so good. There's a little pepper right there growing, bell pepper, and you can see a couple of my other bell pepper plants there not doing good. These are finally slowly starting to get a little bit better. They're producing more flowers. Tomato plants, they're doing all right. I got quite a few growing, and I did want to show you that I do have a small cluster, like 3 or so of these aroma tomatoes right here. They're starting to ripen up and everything, and so no blossom end rot, thank goodness. At least not yet or anything. And I'm hoping that'll be the case as long as I keep using my compost tea, and I've been putting in my rock dust and all that kind of good stuff. So that's keeping the minerals and the trace minerals plenty in there. So again, secondary and tertiary vines just going nuts. And this wedding veil material tool has done a pretty good job of keeping out the squash vine borer moths and things like that. So I highly recommend this tool. It's, again, next year I won't get caught off as guard and get behind on things, because I didn't expect the growth that I got this year. I mean, again, unbelievable the amount of growth I'm getting on this stuff. And it's just gone beyond my wildest imaginations. Well, we'll see how the season grows, because that's the thing. One moment you're up, you're like, oh my gosh, everything's going great, and then a week or so or a couple days later, it's like, oh, what's happened to my plants? That's the challenges of a garden. So anyhow, this is I'm gonna go ahead and sign off here, and I don't know. I think I'm gonna go try to work on this on the next trellis and get it to go right up here for these plants right here. But I really need more trellising and all kinds of stuff. But and I have more emitters for my drip irrigation system. Get that all done, and things I think will be even better. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign off here from Pittman's Pumpkin Patch, Pittman's Garden Patch, and I will talk to you later. Bye.